particularly those of you who are residents who have run a business here or have been stakeholders in the community for some time. Today we have a situation where we have a loss of destination uses, a lack of destination types of locations. We have tough competition from newer destinations like Rivertown Crossing, Centerpoint, Woodland, but that's tough competition. The competition is more accessible to customers by regional highway connectors, including I-96, 196, the new Highway 6. That complicates the market even more for this study area. And we have a high commercial vacancy rate. Available retail space currently exceeds demand and opportunity based on our analysis, a study, a comparison of supply and demand in the market shows that there's relatively slim opportunity for new types of retail. It's tough. We did identify a few niche categories. I'll talk about those in a minute, but it's fairly tight. We have a lot of competition in the greater metropolitan area. And then, a lot of residents and businesses, just generally, stakeholders have described it as just being past its heyday, just simply tired looking, which is certainly true. But we have a lot of benefits as well, so I really want to emphasize the positive for the project. First of all, it continues to be a busy commercial traffic corridor. There are some what we call iconic and valued uses that are still here, whether they be Flowerland. We've lost a few important businesses and are sad to see them go, but there are a lot that have really held on through what is admittedly a tough economy. The DDA and the city together are committed to the effort, and that's prepared to take that initiative. The business community, the landowners, developers, residents, other stakeholders are engaged in the process and seem vested in the process. And a lot has already been done by the city and by the corridor to address aesthetics, to improve just the overall appearance and bring out wayfinding, signage, banners, landscaping. There's been a lot of work already done that demonstrates the community's initiative and intent to follow through. Some of the things that are easier to miss that we think are very important. First of all, and this is thinking about it from a regional perspective, how do we fit, how does the sub-area fit within the greater Grand Rapids metropolitan area? What are our strategic, geographic, regional advantages? And first of all, we already have most of the infrastructure is in place. So, conventionally, new growth tends to go toward the edge suburbs, the edge tier growing parts of a community. And in Grand Rapids' case, the obvious candidate is Highway 6 corridor. But here we already have a lot of infrastructure in place, and that's something that we can really leverage on the cost side of the equation. When a developer is running a pro forma analysis, if this infrastructure is already in place, that can equate to some savings. Some of the other challenges are costs of raising obsolete facilities, but we also have a trade area population and a labor force that is established with good density, and it's becoming increasingly diverse. And the diversity is almost deserves a whole nother, really does deserve another bullet point on its own. But the important thing here is if I delineate a trade area around a competing destination like Centerpoint Mall or Rivertown Crossing, my trade area population falls off pretty quickly when I go south or if I head out of the city. Whereas if I delineate a trade area for this sub-area, I can go pretty far before my population and my labor force and my income starts falling off. I've got good density and I've got a lot of workers within my trade area. And that's really important to potential businesses and potential employers and potential retailers as well. Access to downtown Grand Rapids, this is another geographic advantage that you have over Rivertown Crossing or over Centerpoint. Those are obviously our two biggest competitors for retail and business and employers. In this case, our proximity to downtown Grand Rapids can really be leveraged as an advantage. And I think that we could really find ways to perhaps cross-market that, or maybe ride, on the curtails a little bit of downtown Grand Rapids, and not view ourselves so much as competing as sharing a market, sharing a trade area. Meanwhile, the retail environment in downtown Grand Rapids really emphasizes entertainment and restaurants. There aren't a lot of true shopping experiences that can be had in downtown Grand Rapids. So that's something that is really missing in that urban core. And opportunities within the sub-area are relatively affordable alternatives to downtown Grand Rapids. So that, again, could be an advantage, although, again, there are development costs with raising, scraping, and rebuilding. There are opportunities to foster entrepreneurialism and emerging ethnic business communities and niches. So now I'm coming back and giving a little more emphasis, a little more weight to that importance of how we are becoming, when I say we, the trade area, the city of Wyoming and the sub-area, we are becoming more ethnically diverse over time. And it's a pretty quick transition that's happening, is that we have new business communities that are perhaps not really being capitalized or aren't quite yet being fostered, but could be used to help grow the business community. So what I'd like to do is talk for a few minutes about the retail and office and housing opportunities, specific opportunities. On the retail side, we do see a need to truly contract the total amount of retail space. This does not mean reducing the number of retail stores. We believe that every established business, no matter how small, is valued and important and could actually represent an opportunity to grow. So you could take a business that maybe has 1 employee or 2 employees and find a way to help foster that business a little bit and grow that business. The challenge here is that we just simply have too much commercial space. We have more commercial space than what the business community can really absorb. There's also a need to improve the quality of that tenant space. So we have a lot of space that is just dated, does not offer potential tenants the right adjacencies, the right access, the right visibility. Perhaps even the space is dated. It doesn't offer the modern amenities that they're looking for. There are opportunities to combine retail with office space and with housing to diversify, in many ways, diversify the risk for potential developers. And then there's a real challenge to avoid the speculative building of retail space that doesn't have anchors. And this is something where we see a lot of communities make mistakes where they're allowing developers to come in with very attractive projects that meet all of the design requirements, except they don't have an anchor. And they don't necessarily have signed letters of interest from potential tenants. And then the project gets built and it sits vacant and they're left, the community is often wondering why. Is it because the opportunity wasn't there? I can't emphasize enough how important it is to have anchors in every project. The categories, and I mentioned before, there is some opportunity in the market in general merchandise, also in apparel and clothing stores, niche grocery stores, sporting goods, hobby, and craft. And I can come back and elaborate on those if you're interested. On the office space side,